Hello students, in today's video we will see the meaning and accounting treatment of important items. There are certain important items in your not-for-profit organization. We have to see how they have to be accounted, how it will be entered in income and expenditure account and how it will be entered in balance sheet. Okay, the first one is grant. Grant is an aid issued by a government agency to any not-for-profit organization for specific purpose or general purpose. For example, you have this government-aided colleges. Have you heard? So government is giving some aid. Government gives some money to such colleges. That is why it is called government-aided colleges. Now this money which government gives can be used for general purpose, or the government would specify that it has to be used only for this purpose, like only for a concession for poor students or only for maintaining the laboratories, something like that. Now if it is a general, okay, first I have explained specific grant. If it is a specific grant, then it has to be capitalized. Now whenever government gives grant, what do? Cash is coming in and government is giving the grant, isn't it? Debit what comes in and credit the giver. So government grant will be credited, isn't it? So if it is it has to be credited. Now if it is a specific grant, it should be capitalized. Now capitalized credit means liability, so it will appear in the liability side of balance sheet. Other method of remembering is government has specifically given the grant for a purpose. It has to be used only for that purpose. Hence, the money given will be used only for that purpose, and any money which is left out after using it for that purpose is a liability on the college to give it back to the government. Hence, specific grant has to be capitalized. It will appear in the liability side of balance sheet. Here the meaning is, it is the amount received for a specific purpose, say to bring awareness of effects of tobacco consumption. It comes with a specified time period, say 1 year. Within that time period you have to spend it. Now your expenses are less and the grant amount is left out, unspent. It has to be returned to the government. Hence it is a liability. In other words, it will not appear in income and expenditure account. It will be shown on the liability side of balance sheet. However, it will appear in the receipt side, children. In receipts and payment account, see all these important items which I am going to discuss today. If it is an income, if the cashier's bank is coming inside, if money is coming in, it will appear in the receipt side, because receipts and payment account follows cash basis. However, income and expenditure account, only revenue income and revenue expenditure, that is income and expenditure which are recurring in nature, will appear. Government will not give grant every month. So it is a non-recurring specific grant. Keep that in mind. So specific grants will appear in liability side of balance sheet. Okay. So specific grant, liability side of balance sheet. Now if there is any expense, okay, say government has given grant to build physics lab. Now you are building physics lab in the college and you are incurring expenses. These expenses also will not appear in income and expenditure account. They will be subtracted from the specific grant in the balance sheet. Okay, so I'll repeat this. In receipts and payments account, in the receipt side, you will find the specific grant amount. In the payment side, you will find physics labs construction expenses. Now, the receipt side, government's grant, will appear in the liability side of the balance sheet and the expenses will be subtracted from it. I hope I am making sense. Okay. Now, what if the expense is more than the grant? Say the grant is 5 lakh rupees, but the expenditure to build physics lab is 5 lakh 10,000 rupees. Then 5 lakh minus 5 lakh, grant will not appear, the physics lab construction grant will not appear in liability side, it will become 0. This 10,000 will appear in the expenditure side of income and expenditure account. Okay, that is what is explained in this in case. Okay, now coming to general grant. General grant, very easy. The specific is not given. It can be used for any purpose. So it will become a revenue in nature. So it will appear in income side of income and expenditure account. Okay, is it clear? I will repeat this again. Government giving grant, if it is mentioned what purpose the grant is for, the grant will appear in the liability side of the balance sheet, and any expense which is spent for that purpose will be subtracted from the grant in the liability side of the balance sheet. First point. Second point, if the expenses are more than the specific grant, then the grant will become 0 in the liability side of the balance sheet, and the difference amount, the excess amount of expenditure, will appear in the expenditure side, that is the debit side of income and expenditure account. If it is a general grant, the full grant amount will appear in the income side of income and expenditure account. Okay. Second one, donation. The same rule is applicable for donation also. Only different is that government will give grant, donation can be given by anyone. General public, private organization, anybody can give donation. So, if this donation will appear in the receipt side of receipts and payment account. That is what I told, all income important items which I am explaining in this video. If it is if cash or bank is coming inside, if money is flowing inside the NPO, not for profit organization, it will appear in receipts and payment account, because receipts and payment account records transactions both of revenue in nature and capital in nature. So donation will appear in the receipt side of receipts and payment account. Now if the donation is for a specific purpose, suppose I am donating to Child Relief and You, it is the organization CRY, it is called CRY, it is an organization for children. If I say that the money should be used only for meals, only for preparing food for the children, then it becomes a specific donation. This specific donation will appear in the liability side of the balance sheet. Okay. So, any expenditure belonging to preparation of meals will be subtracted from specific donation in the liability side of balance sheet, from the liability side of balance sheet. If the preparation of meal expenditure is more and donation is less, suppose my donation is 10,000 rupees, the preparation of meal expenditure is 11,000 rupees, then 1,000 rupees will appear in the expenditure side, that is the debit side of income and expenditure account, and donation of 10,000 rupees will not appear in balance sheet at all, because 10,000 minus 10,000, it will become 0. Okay. Now if it is a general donation, it will be considered as a revenue item. Why? Which is the main source of Child Relief and You, not for profit organization? People donate, isn't it? So every month many people will donate. It is a recurring income. This revenue will take place every day, every month. So if it is a general donation, it will appear in the income side, that is credit side of income and expenditure account. Okay. Next one is legacy. What is legacy? When a person dies, before dying, he will prepare a will. I hope you know will. In that will, he or she would say, this property will go to this charitable organization, or this much amount of money will go to this charitable institution. Or suppose he or she is a cricketer, he or she wants to do something for cricket, they would write in the will, my ground will be used as cricket ground by this cricket club. Okay, so this is legacy. Now, if this legacy is for a specific purpose, like it has to be used by the cricket club for playing cricket, or suppose I'm leaving behind money and the money should be used only for maintaining the lawn of the cricket ground, then it becomes a specific legacy. So, a specific legacy will appear in the liability side of the balance sheet, and any expenses related to it will be subtracted from it. If the expenses are more than the legacy, the difference amount will appear in the expenditure side of income and expenditure account, and the legacy will become zero. However, if it is a general legacy, if the purpose for which the money is to be used is not mentioned, it will be considered as revenue, which means it will appear in the income side of income and expenditure account. So that is what is given here. Legacy is the amount received as donation by a not-for-profit organization under will of a deceased person. Deceased means dead person. One who is no more alive. When the donor, the person, that is the deceased person, when the donor does not specify conditions for its use, it is accounted as revenue received and credited to income and expenditure account. If a condition is specified for its use, it is accounted as capital received and is shown in the liability side of the balance sheet. Okay, children? So these are all same. The treatment is same. The item is known by different names. It is known by grant, then it is known by donation, then it is known by legacy. But the treatment is same. Next, endowment fund. What is the difference between endowment fund and legacy? Legacy is the money given. Endowment fund, if the money is invested in some bank, then it becomes fund. That's it. It is amount received as bequest. Bequest means same. When a person dies, he gives a part to someone, to a not-for-profit organization. That which you acquire, that is called bequest. Or donation, income of which is used for purpose specified by the person bequeathing or donating. So a person is donating an amount and the income from the amount is to be used for a specific purpose. That is called endowment fund. Okay. Now, income from investments of endowment fund is added to the balance sheet and payment is deducted from it. Balance amount is shown in the liability side of the balance sheet. As a result, originally donated amount always remains intact. So, where legacy can be general and specific, endowment funds are only specific in nature. And the main fund is never used, is never consumed. The fund, say 5 lakh rupees, is invested in a fixed deposit. The interest from the fund is used. Okay? So the fund continues to remain forever and ever. You have this endowment fund for meritorious students, 10th standard and 12th standard rank holders receive endowment fund award, cash prize award. That is how endowment fund is maintained. Okay, children? So, endowment fund will appear in the balance sheet side, balance sheet liability side. Okay? Next, honorarium. Honorarium is an amount paid to a person other than employees for rendering some special services for not-for-profit organization. Now, other than employees, what does this mean? If it is an employee, he or she will demand and expect a salary. Honorarium is persons providing voluntary services. Say, a teacher retired from school, working in a temple or in a religious place, church, temple or mosque, taking care of the money, donations, accounts, how much money is coming and what is the purpose it is being used for. Now this teacher is providing a service. He or she is not employed by the temple authorities. They just voluntarily take up. Every day I will come, I will just monitor. If something like that. out of gratitude, the temple or the mosque or church want to give some payment. That is called honorarium. Okay. Say every day for 1 hour or 2 hours, I go sit in the temple and take care of the accounts work. I'm a commerce teacher, isn't it? And take care of the accounts work of the temple. Temples should also maintain accounts. NPO should maintain accounts. Not for profit organization includes religious organizations also. So I'm not expecting any money, but the temple authorities, out of they see the efficiency of my work, they are pleased with me, they want to give some money in return. That is called honorarium. So honorarium is not fixed salary. Okay, children? So this is called honorarium. Now the question arises as how it is to be treated. Well, it is an expenditure for NPO. So it will appear in the expenditure side of income and expenditure account. Okay. Entrance fee or admission fee. We have already seen entrance fee or admission fee. Entrance fee or admission fee as per CBSE syllabus is revenue in nature. It is inflow of cash. It will appear in the income side, that is the credit side of income and expenditure account. Now here, what is income and what is entrance fee? In our school, when you have to take new admission, you pay 100 rupees, isn't it? That is entrance fee or admission fee. Now every month you do not pay admission fee, so it is non-recurring in nature. However, many children will get admitted in our school. Sometimes every month children get admitted. So in that sense, it is regular and recurring in nature. Now CBSE states that it is recurring in nature. It is a revenue item. It will appear in income and expenditure account. In your NCERT book, it is mentioned that it is a capital item and it will be added with capital fund in the liability side of the balance sheet. This is wrong. Wrong means this is out of syllabus. As per the current syllabus, entrance fee will appear in the income side of income and expenditure account. Keep this in mind. So sometimes while solving NCERT problems, you may not get the book answer. It's okay. Just to get the book answer, don't put entrance fee from income side to balance sheet. Don't do that. Okay? Next, life membership fee. Suppose I want to become life member of an organization. Life members have certain advantages and benefits which other non-life members will not have. Now for this life membership fee, each person will pay it only once. But it is not necessary that everyone will pay. Now every member who wants to become a member of a NPO would pay entrance fee. But every member of NPO may not pay life membership fee. This life membership fee is a one-time payment and it is not compulsory. It is optional. It gives some additional advantages. For example, if I have a swimming pool, if I am a member of a swimming pool, if I take life membership fee, if I pay, I may get benefits like I can go for 2 hours daily. And I can get benefits like monthly once I can go with my family. It is free. Something like that. Okay. Now this life membership fee is capital in nature. It should be added with capital fund in the liability side of the balance sheet. Now what is capital fund? Capital fund is the capital of NPO. Okay. How to get capital fund? We have to prepare opening balance sheet. That is why in my previous videos where only income and expenditure account is asked, I have also explained why the previous balance sheet or opening balance sheet is prepared. It is prepared, the balancing figure is capital fund. That capital fund will be taken to the closing balance sheet, and with that capital fund we have to add surplus, or if it is a deficit, we have to subtract deficit. What is surplus and deficit? If income is more than expenditure, surplus. If expenditure is more than income, deficit. So if it is surplus, it will be added to the capital fund. If it is deficit, it will be subtracted from capital fund. With this capital fund, we have to add life membership fee, entrance fee, revenue item, income side, life membership fee, capital item, balance sheet, liability side, add it with capital fund. Okay. Now comes special receipt. It is not credited to income and expenditure account but is shown in the liability side of the balance sheet. Now, what is this special receipt? Specific donation or a government grant. All these are specific in nature. So that is the meaning of special receipt. Okay. Example, contribution towards annual dinner. Suppose I am in a cricket club. Now the cricket club keeps annual dinner. Once in a year, all the members will be called and dinner will be kept. Okay. For this, it will sell out tickets and collect money. Now this money will be used only for annual dinner expenses. It should not be used for any other expense. So this money collected will be capitalized and shown in the liability side of balance sheet. It will be annual dinner receipt. You can name it like that. Now, for preparing annual dinner, many expenses will take place. Decorating the hall, bringing the catering services, providing for table papers, tables, chairs and all. All these expenses have to be subtracted from the annual dinner receipt. So, if the annual dinner receipt is 50,000 and the expenses are say 40,000, it will be subtracted. 50,000 minus 40,000, 10,000 will continue to appear in the liability side of balance sheet. Next year it will be used. However, keep it in mind, if it is equal, if annual dinner receipt is 50,000 and expense is also 50,000, then receipts minus expense on the liability side of the balance sheet, annual dinner receipt minus catering expenses, the amount will become 0, nil. Now, if the expenses are more, that is what is written here. Balance, if any, is transferred to expenditure side of income and expenditure account, which means if the expenditure are more and the annual dinner receipt is less, annual dinner receipt is 50,000, expense is 52,000, then annual dinner receipt will become 0 in the liability side of balance sheet and 2,000 will be debited on the expenditure side of income and expenditure account. The rule is same, children. Whatever was the rule for government grant or donation, it is the same rule. Okay. Next, subscription. We have already seen subscription, but I would like to explain it again. Subscription is the amount payable by members of not-for-profit organization for renewal of membership periodically. So it can be monthly, quarterly, half-yearly or annually. It is the way you children pay school fees. It is the same way. Okay. Now subscription received during the year, whether relating to previous year, current year or next year, are shown in the receipt side of receipts and payments account, because receipts and payment account is prepared on cash basis, which means it does not differentiate whether the income belongs to current year, previous year or next year. When cash is coming in by way of cash or bank, it is shown in the receipt side. However, when you prepare income and expenditure account, it is prepared on accrual basis. Okay. So income and expenditure account is prepared on accrual basis, which means if subscriptions received during the current year belongs to previous year's outstanding or belongs to next year's prepaid, it will be subtracted. And subscription received during the current year does not include, if it will not include current year's outstanding, so we have to add current year's outstanding, and we should also add previous year's prepaid. Prepaid means pre-received, income received in advance, because it belongs to current year. That is what is explained here, because it is accrual basis. Now we will see the formula again. Subscription received during the year, this you will get from the receipt side of receipts and payment account. With that, we have to add subscription of current year, outstanding subscription of current year, which means that subscription which was supposed to receive in the current year but we did not receive in the current year. The outstanding amount belonging only to current year will be added. And subscription received in advance, prepaid, of previous year. Previous year's subscription received in advance. In some question, it will be given as beginning of the year. Beginning of the year means 1st April, say 2020. On 1st April 2020, if you have prepaid subscription, sorry children, the word prepaid is wrong. It is received in advance. Okay, prepaid is used for expenses. I will correct it later. Okay, so in the beginning of the year, if I receive subscription in advance account is there, it belongs to previous year, which means previous year I received subscription in advance. It belongs to current year. Okay, then from this we have to subtract outstanding subscription of previous year received in current year, which means there may be some subscription not received in previous year. That person was not able to pay previous year. This year that person is paying this year's subscription plus previous year's outstanding. So it will be included in this amount, because this amount I got from income side, receipt side of receipts and payment account. So from this amount I have to subtract previous year's outstanding subscription received during the current year. Then what else I have to subtract? In the current year, some other person might have paid in advance for the next year. So this subscription received in advance in the current year belonging to the next year is included in this, because it will be there in the receipt side of receipts and payment account. It has to be subtracted. Okay children. Next, cost of goods consumed. Certain items like stationery, medicines by hospitals, sports materials are kept in stock by not-for-profit organization. Suppose it is a small tuition center. Okay, they have registered themselves as NPO, let us assume. Now they are having stationery like chalk, red pen, duster, stapler, punching machine and all. Okay, that is stationery. Now they may maintain it as a stock. Stationery is an expense, isn't it? Under materiality concept, it is to be considered as expense. But sometimes NPO will maintain it as stock, which means it will have opening stock and closing stock and purchases. So how to calculate cost of goods consumed? Opening stock plus purchases minus closing stock. Formula is same like cost of goods sold. Opening stock, add purchases and direct expenses minus closing stock. The same formula is here. Opening stock of consumable goods plus purchases minus closing stock. Now opening stock will appear in the opening balance sheet asset side. Closing stock will appear in the closing balance sheet asset side. Purchases, we will get this amount from the payment side of receipts and payment account. Now where will this cost of goods consumed go? It will be shown in the expenditure side of income and expenditure account. Okay, because it is the cost of stationeries consumed. Similarly, hospitals will always maintain certain life-saving emergency medicines. Or cricket club will always have certain sports material. The opening and closing balances will be maintained. Okay children. So whenever you have stationery or medicines or sports materials appearing in the payment side of receipts and payment account, immediately go to the adjustment and see if opening and closing amount is given for that stationery or medicine. If it is given, then opening amount will appear in the opening balance sheet asset side. Closing amount will appear in the closing balance sheet asset side. Purchases we will get from payment side of receipts and payment account. Opening plus purchase minus closing. Cost of goods consumed will appear you should not write goods, children. You have to write cost of stationery consumed, or cost of medicines consumed, or cost of sports materials consumed. You have to show it in the expenditure side of income and expenditure account. Okay. Now that is what is shown here in the table. Amount paid to creditors for stationery during the current year. What is this amount paid? Forget the word creditors, okay? Don't get confused. It can be just amount paid, okay? Amount paid for stationery during the current year. This comes from payment side of receipts and payment account. With this, we have to add opening stock of stationery and we have to subtract closing stock of stationery. Okay. Now comes closing creditors. Why should we add closing creditors? Sometimes you will get this as additional information. Say you will have closing creditors of stationery and opening creditors of stationery. Then you will get confused. Closing creditors are creditors at the end of the year, current year. So they are actually, if we are talking about creditors at the end of the current year, we have purchased stationery from them during this year, but we did not pay them. Okay. So, but we have purchased, service we have utilized. So it belongs to current year's expense, irrespective of money paid or not. So closing creditors will be added with the respective expense. Opening creditors of stationery are, we purchased stationery from them in the previous year. In the previous year, we purchased stationery from them on credit. Okay. So we are assuming that we have paid them and the payment is included in this amount. And this amount we got from payment side of receipts and payment account. So this expense of opening creditors of stationery, which we have paid in the current year, does not belong to current year's expense. It is previous year's expense. So we have to subtract opening creditors of stationery. Okay. Then prepaid is same formula as in the case of subscription. Any prepaid or advance of previous year or in the beginning of current year actually belongs to current year. Suppose previous year we have paid in advance for stationery, which means we have paid in advance for the current year. In 2019 December or March, 2020 March, we paid in advance for purchase of stationery. The creditors supplied the stationery in the month of April, which belongs to current year. So even though we paid in previous year, this belongs to current year's expense. So it will be added. Previous year's advance payment, add. Sometimes instead of previous year, the wording will be beginning of the current year. Both are same. Now prepaid or advance of current year or at the end of current year, if I make any advance payment, I have not yet purchased the stationery. I have just placed the order and paid advance money. This money is actually an expense for the next year when the stationery will get supplied. So it is not an expense at all. However, it is included in this amount. So we have to subtract. Okay. So what is the formula? You can remember the formula for cost of goods purchased. Opening stock plus purchases minus closing stock. First point. Okay. Second, if you are adding opening stock of stationery, then you have to add closing creditors. Remember, opposites. Okay. If we are adding opening stock of stationery, we have to add closing creditors. And if we are subtracting closing stock of stationery, we have to subtract opening creditors. These two will go hand in hand. Remember. Okay. Then previous year's payment belongs to current year. So previous year's payment for stationery will be added and current year's payment for advance prepayment belongs to next year. So it will be subtracted. Okay, children. Initially when you come across this formula, it will be difficult. If you understand the logic, it is very easy. If you don't understand the logic, you have to by heart the formula. How to by heart? Opening stock plus purchases minus closing stock. If opening is added, closing should be added. If closing stock is added, opening creditors should be, if opening stock is added, closing creditors will be added. If closing stock is subtracted, opening creditors will be subtracted. Prepaid of previous year will be added, prepaid of current year will be subtracted. By heart the formula. Okay, children? With this, today's class is over. I want you to take this down. You can pause the scene, pause the video, and copy this in your classwork notebook. Now, you may get this as 1 mark question. They may ask you what is endowment fund or what is legacy or tell the treatment of donation. You may get it as a theory question, 1 mark question. You may also get it as a part of the problem. So while solving problem, you can solve the numerical sum only when you know the treatment. So both the ways, this is important. Stay home, stay safe, and keep learning. Your thirst for learning, your quest for knowledge, your perseverance to excel should not become low, should never get reduced. Compete with yourself and each day perform better than what you performed on the previous day. Okay, students? Goodbye.